brings us to John of Common Cause, an organization which has a storied history in Rhode Island, going back through the great separation of powers wars and others. And I want to make sure I recognize John's predecessor, Phil West.
Storied histories behind
as usual, working with his camera, chronicling events when he's actually often at the center of the event that he's chronicling. So to Common Cause and John, welcome.
Thank you. And these pictures are for volume 2. So, because I'm not writing that.
It's probably not long enough.
No, thank you, Senator, for having us. Thank you, Congressman, for being here and for taking part in this. The piece we talk about Citizens United, the piece people forget when I talk about Citizens United is that there was a separate opinion that day. And it was 8-1, and it was in favor of disclosure. And people forget that while Senator Whitehouse explained it well, it was premised on the idea that this was disclosed. They not only said that in the majority opinion in the 5-4 decision, but in the 8-1 decision, they talked about the value of disclosure and upheld disclosure. And time and again, the courts have upheld disclosure. So the Disclose Act is important, incredibly important, and it's amazing that it hasn't passed, and it came so close to passing at one point. I know in Rhode Island, Common Cause has been very involved in this issue, as was mentioned earlier, particularly with Senator Pichardo. We saw this in 2010, and we pivoted toward this in 2011, working with a group at Brown called Democracy Matters, working with Representative Blazajewski, who couldn't be here, and Senator Pichardo. And we took our cue from the Disclose Act. We didn't have as good an acronym. We called it the Transparency and Political Spending Act, TIPS. But all the features of that were features taken from the Disclose Act. And that was passed overwhelmingly in 2012 and has been implemented somewhat successfully. But it includes putting the top donors on the ad. So removing the necessary filter of having the media dig through the files and find out who the owners are, or the ad donors are, and putting it in a newspaper article, but rather put it right in front of the citizens in the ad. Requiring all types of entities, including 501c4s, which are used as this dark money mechanism to disclose. And we saw a great example of that. Yesterday in the Providence Journal had an article about the Ports Coalition, and that all that reporting was used the 2012 law. Otherwise, we wouldn't know who was contributing to that 501c4. Requiring real-time disclosure of these expenditures. Reporting the shell organizations that pop up. There's a provision called the covered transfers. People were creating LLCs and 501c4s to pass money through, but you have to reveal the ultimate donor of the money. And protecting organizations who want to segregate their political work and let them create segregated accounts. So we're proud to have partnered with Senator Pichardo and Representative Blazajewski to put this on the books. It has had some mixed success because of the implementation with our State Board of Elections, which has faced a lot of challenges. But we're hoping that that this, as time goes on, proves its worth. And we've seen good examples of this in good citizens, entities in our state abiding by this law and putting those names forward. Justice Brandeis is often quoted as talking about transparency being so important and the best of disinfectants, but he also talked about states as laboratories of democracy. And we see Rhode Island particularly positioned as a laboratory of democracy on these issues of campaign finance reform. And we think we can continue to push the envelope here and be an example you can take back to Washington and say, they did it in my state, and we need to do it for the whole United States. Thank you.
Thank you, John.